I ain't John Tavor, Willie L, Chris White, for Dig the DJ. We all did it at the Roundtable Podcast.
Welcome to dinner at the Roundtable Podcast with DJ John Tavar, Nelly Nell, Chris Ryder, and Bodega the DJ on the ones and twos. Your source to knowledge. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at dinner at the Roundtable.
GG. 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 You already know what it is, man. Dinner at the Roundtable live from New York, man. Monday, 7:30, like usual. We here live in the building, man. Today, man, we're going to have a special episode. Topic of the day, social movements featuring super music producer AI in the house, man. My personal brother. He's about to chime in right now real quick. Right now, you know what I'm saying, we're low on the co-host from Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast. John Tavar and Chris Ryder couldn't be here right now. John Tavar might jump in later on. It's Labor Day weekend, so everybody's out there partying. They're in parties, right? I ain't doing a party. I'm here interviewing AI because, you know what I'm saying, he deserves that utmost respect from us. You know what I'm saying? Yo, AI, man, welcome to Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast, brother. What's up?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Great, man. Great. It's a pleasure.
Been anticipating this for a while.
Yes, we've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
You're a very busy man, you know what I'm saying? I'm honored to have you here because not only because of your credentials as a super music producer, but also, you know, you're my brother. We know each other a long time.
That's
and I know your schedule is hectic, man. So for you to make out time for me, I appreciate that, brother. And for Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast.
Appreciate it. The honor is mine.
Yeah, man. So real quick, just to get our listeners and our viewers familiar with who AI, the super music producer, is. Who is AI? Tell them real quick about your background there, brother.
Okay, so I go with my initial. I use my initials to craft a name, basically. So I'm not saying that I'm artificial intelligence or any other stuff. It's just my first initial and my last initial, my family name, which is Adil, which is start with the A in Arabic, and Ismail, which is Ismail with the I. And so I put them together. Just happy coincidence, you know, like Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? The truth, whatever.
It's correct to say that you're not a robot, you're not an artificial intelligence.
Absolutely, I'm not.
People were like, you're gonna have a robot on your show? I was like, no, he's a human being.
Thank you. Well, if I wait a little bit, maybe I can actually infuse my, myself with a little bit of robotic, what they call it, mechanism, I guess, you know, in the future. That's gonna happen, you know, like you need another 140 years, I guess, you know.
Yeah, man, you could be the T-Pain of the future with a robotic voice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about a little bit about your craft, your background in music. Can you tell our fans and our listeners your background in music, what you worked on, the things you've done, just so they can know how much of a super music producer you are? I'm gonna let you tell it because I already know. I wanted to hear from your mouth.
I've been in the business for, let's say, since 95. I moved actually to the city for that purpose. And I worked in a lot of studios. I worked, you know, when you start, you start like crud, you know, like you starting with people that are just, you work anywhere so you can get in the circuit. And so I worked in a couple of little studios down. I worked in Kenwood Darden studio before for Drum Boy and stuff like that. And it was not really that long. And I worked with a couple of producers in Midtown. They were doing a lot of pop music and did a lot of recording. Been in studios, like inside the studios with, like, you know, a lot of artists from, like, you know, dropping names. I hate that because it really does nothing for you. It's truly,
yeah.
no matter who you know.
I was gonna tell you that. Can you do some name dropping for me? But you know what? I know how you work, and I know you don't like using other people's names to shine on yourself. So I'm not gonna do that to you.
Thank
But
you.
just to let our listeners and our viewers know, this guy has worked with the top of the top, creme of the creme of the music industry, and he's not dropping any names, but we'll leave it as that.
Okay. Well, in this room here, I recorded. I don't want to. Like, I hate that. Truly.
You're being modest. It's okay. You're being modest. It's all right.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. You know, but I've been in studios with people. I've been with somebody that even the top of the top cannot be with in a studio. Like, I'm talking about, like, it's the unattainable in jazz music, or people, you know, like, stuff really, really big. And so dropping names is really not something that I want to do. But a few, like, I did editing with the Marsalis brothers. I worked with Max Roach. Max Roach is the greatest drummer of all time. I recorded 50, a lot of people in my old home. It's like, I just leave it alone. So that's good enough. In this room, August Alsina, a couple of people, you know, just very few stuff, basically. So I just leave it at that. That sound okay, you know.
Well,
and on top of all of that, Vaquero was in this room here for the Dominicans, you know.
Vaquero, yeah, he's Vaquero. Yeah, Vaquero music is very popular in the urban Latin culture.
Yes.
Music wise, so that's an accomplishment there.
Yeah,
Vaquero. So yeah, he's very unique in his style. So
he is. I like that he was more hip hop than the Dominican side of, you know, like the side of music. Yeah, reggaeton.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
He does do it.
Yeah, man. But listen, I'm glad that you're being modest. You know, you don't want to name drop. But real quick, let's get our listeners and the viewers a little bit familiar with your tunes there. So let's pull something up there that you want to let them hear a masterpiece you got going there. So right now, AI, the super music producer, is gonna show you what he got. It's only a snippet, so y'all can't steal this beat. Y'all can't steal his beats.
They can, and they can text me and I'll give it to them.
Yeah, it's even better if they try to steal it, because then you can sue them.
That's true. Money off of it. Absolutely. Well, this is something that I did a while ago, and simple.
Put it up. Raise that volume up. It's not coming through, brother. There you go. Saying, like, some shit you talking about, like, you know, how on some, like, Lost Boy Renee type shit. Remember that song Renee from the Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I can play for you. Let's say there's plenty of stuff that I have that sound like the stuff that, you know, I don't have a style, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a style that
when you're too versatile, you never have a style.
That's right. You can't be, you know, like as simple as sort of like South American sound with a little bit of pop, you know.
Put that up. Let me hear that part. I want to hear that. a big dembow hit right there. Dembow, Dominican
Yeah.
dembow.
The thing is, it has movement.
It has movement,
You
yeah.
have to have a lot of movement in your music. You can't be like somebody who's just gonna make something that's small. It gotta have a lot of movement. Like,
Yeah.
and also you have to give an artist a space where they can get in the track, you know? Like, okay, so you drop it. And, you know, like that, you know?
That beat is fire. That beat is fire. I love that beat right there. That
Thank
beat
you.
is definitely the new wave. Like, right
Yeah.
now, like the whole tropical, like
Mix.
reggae, Spanish sounds, tropical sounds. That's what's in right now.
That's right.
That's why
That's right.
I don't know if you've seen in the Rolling Stone magazines, El Alpha, which is a Dominican dembow artist, urban artist. He's like one of the number one urban artists in the world right now. It's because
Yeah.
he has that sound, that different sound. See, as a music producer, you said it yourself. Me as a fan and as a listener and somebody who's been in the music industry as well, I hate hearing beats. They don't have a combination of different sounds. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
hate that beat. It goes with the same sound and it doesn't have room enough for the artist to even record on it.
I do hate crack music.
Yeah.
Crack music is instant satisfaction, but it just leaves you all messed up at the end.
Yeah.
And so usually I don't go for crack music. I really try to make something, no matter, I would enjoy, but I also wanted to like kind of have intro, have movement, have up and down, an emotional ride. People attach to music and they love music because of the emotional attachment. You have to be able to form an emotional attachment with them. That's the difference between song and song, you know? Today, people just listen to like really, I'm not against it. I do make some of the, you know, the, I don't have it put up.
You make some of the crap music too, right?
I said crack.
Crack, like crack cocaine.
Yeah, Mack, it's instant crack music. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have an intro, doesn't have anything. It just hits you, and it, you know, like I make that all day, like, but I don't like it. I do love the sound of the '90s in a way. It have this thing to it, you know. I could make the tough hip hop, you know. I like when something have a meaning to it. See?
Yes. That's correct.
And that's like a little sample from a record, you know? So it take you back, you know what I'm saying? Just drop whatever you want to drop right on top of that, you know.
Fire. That's fire, dude. That's fire.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So AI. So for our fans and our listeners, for your fans and our listeners and our viewers, what made you start a career in music production?
Okay. I'm from Africa, okay? First of all, I gotta go back and introduce myself in a different kind of way. Okay. I'm from Sudan, and Sudan is a place where they celebrate all types of music. I started dancing since I was 5 years old. I played drums. I was like 3 or 4, like, you know, played drums. I have really, really great grasp of polyrhythmic sounds and the idea, you know, like a beat before I even know what's 4/4 or 3/4 or 16/11 or any of those things. And my father kind of loved music himself, and he always had records and stuff in the house for us, and that's what made me. And I've always, when I was living in the Middle East, so I moved from Sudan to Saudi Arabia, Croatian. I always wondered why there's a difference in the orchestral idea between the Middle East and here. Why they couldn't have found the same sound? Why and why? Or so many questions that I had as unanswered. And when I moved to the United States, no English, not very good English, and so I wanted to learn more. And so I bought some of books to help me do that. And I was in Sudan. My cousins, they are musicians.
So basically, you're saying that you wanted to, get into the theory of music first.
Yes,
the theory
yes,
behind it.
yes,
Because
exactly. So my cousins were musicians, and they were trying to explain there is scales, and Sudanese scale is the fifth scale, the seventh scale, and then is the pentatonic, blah blah blah. There's all kind of different scales, and people play music and Sudanese music is all played on the black keys, like the Chinese music, basically. It sound like Chinese music, and they don't use most of the keys unless they move them really hard and stuff like that. And so I wanted to know, I wanted to record my cousins in Sudan. And so I got these two different tape players and sync them from the middle with one way, and I put two tapes in them because I always wanted to, so I was thinking of multi-recording without knowing multi-recording.
So without really knowing, you was already mixing different tracks, the voice and the beat together, like on Pro Tools, different sound waves, right? But you was doing it manually through the tapes.
Tape. Yes.
Through tapes. That's insane.
Tape, like cassette tape, not even like a studio recording tape.
You was learning the algorithm without even knowing the algorithm yet.
Absolutely, that's the way it is. That's right. And so I've kept it in the back of my mind until I moved from the Middle East to New York. And the first person that greeted me was his name is Derek Miles. He's a cousin of my ex, and he is the guy who signed G. Ali or a bunch of people, the Relativity Records. He worked in Relativity Records, and so he signed a lot of these people. And so the first week, no English, I walk in over in Queens somewhere, and in the room, without me knowing, was Premier sitting there, and with a couple
DJ
of people.
Premier.
Yes. Before he was being famous, he was there, and it was a couple of other people, and they were all working at dots, and they had like a huge mixing table. And I said to myself, I want to do that. That's the first time I was introduced to the idea. Then, no money.
You know what? You didn't know English that good, but you knew the universal language of music.
That's
you
right.
You need to know a language.
Anything else?
Language is a music by itself.
Yes.
Right.
I didn't touch.
Yeah.
That day I didn't touch anything or anything like that. And so 5-6 years later, and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and then one of my cousins say, what's his name? Who's still a friend of mine, DJ Cool. Let me clear my throat.
Yeah.
One of the most famous songs in the history of whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's a pop. That's one of the popular song ever, because there's not one DJ in a club that doesn't play that song every set. It's in every set of every DJ in the world.
Yep. It's an opening hype song for the crowd. Exactly. Let me clear my throat. Right?
I was there watching. He had a video shot for it, and I was there. So he invited me. He had a show in Harrisburg, and then we met him. We talked to him. I gave him a gift or something, and then he said, come with us to Philly. We're going to see Charlie Mack. Oh, Charlie Mack. Charlie Mack was the business somebody, Will Smith's business manager or security or something, and then he's also DJ Jazzy Jeff manager at that time. And so I go over there. The birthday is for him. Charlie Mack was dressed in a yellow suit, big dude, and
he's always
and then
he's
I
always
got
been a
in.
big dude that dresses nice though. Like he dresses tight and nice.
Yeah, they gave me this bracelet, and so I walked in, and they say, "Okay, you have to go into the VIP." And in the VIP, Biggie was sitting there, Puffy was there, the guy who died, Craig Mack. Was it Craig Mack?
Craig Mack, yeah, Craig Mack.
Yeah,
Craig Mack was Craig Mack and Biggie Small were part of the original Bad Boy.
Yes,
like
at that time.
Yeah, that time, yeah.
They were all there. Will Smith was there, Biggie, Jazzy Jeff, Will Smith's dad. And so I'm standing in the corner of this VIP thing. Somebody goes out there and perform right across from me. I'm talking about when he did like this with his mouth, he spit right in my face.
Wait, Doggy Fresh?
Dougie Fresh.
Oh my God, crazy.
Okay.
How did it feel to see that live
that's
right
it.
there, man?
Yes, I was standing like this. That's the camera, that's him, I'm here, and I'm just like there, and nobody behind me because everybody's sitting just right there by myself, and he's performing for everybody, and I'm like right here. Shit. And so that moment solidified the whole thing. I went back and I bought that drum machine right there.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah, so that drum machine has been with you for years, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's actually
so this is
been stolen twice. I got it back.
1994, 1995, right? When basically hip hop evolved into a different animal. You got Craig Mack, P. Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Biggie Smalls, legends. Will Smith is another legend, but he's from like the old school hip hop. DJ Premier, DJ Kool Herc. Then you got Doggy E Fresh spitting, literally spitting in your face.
That's right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what's the name of the pussycat? The pussycat from the Looney Tunes. They go Southern Succotash, right?
That's right.
In your face, beatboxing.
Yeah.
That was like that was like a clear vision as to what you wanted to do. You wanted to get involved in this industry.
Yes.
And that was that was a real great experience to experience that, because that expanded your horizons, and you're right there in that moment. You knew this is for me. You know, I love making music.
That's right. And that was in Philly.
Yeah.
And that was in Philly, like home of a lot of great things as far as hip hop, R&B, all of these things. Had conversation. That day I had conversation with Jazzy Jeff, with Charlie, with all of these people. I had conversation. It was really, really amazing. And from that day, I've been fortunate to like be in places and like always meet people. And dude, I sat 45 minutes near Jay-Z and I said nothing to him.
Wow.
Not one word.
Shit.
Yeah. Jay-Z was like, and I said not
right
one
word. So you never said one word to him.
Not one word.
What year was this? What year was this?
This is, I think,
in the mid-90s?
When did he buy the 44?
The 4040 Club? I think he bought that like in the
2000,
early 2000s.
Yes, 99. I think it was 99 or 98. He was researching, and I'm telling you, I went to this club. My boy gave me the VIP. I walked in, and then I opened the thing, closed it, and when I closed it, Jay-Z right there by himself on this side, and I'm like, I looked at him like that. There's a couch. I sat near him.
You were like, I make music too. You make music. I make music. What the hell?
Yeah, I said nothing. I said nothing. I got him dancing.
Hey, listen. In that world, you know, it's like two basketball players meeting each other, famous basketball players. One is, you know, he's more industry, more commercial, and there's one that's not, right? The same thing. He was there in front of Jay-Z. He's a commercial mainstream guy. You're there. You're the underground music producer that makes beats for a lot of people, and it didn't faze you. It didn't faze you because you used to dealing with stars all the time. Yeah, you know.
I was recording a lot of people that come to our place. A lot of the DJs that actually big DJs right now. Yeah, they were. I had a friend of mine that worked in Def Jam, and so he was always in Def Jam, sending me people that are. I had a studio on 138th Street.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, in every given day, there would be limousines just lined up down the block. My neighbors wondering, yes. My neighbors we've seen all like, oh, that's what that, yeah, okay. And so they all come in, we record, and I record it tonight, and then tomorrow morning it'll be played.
Your neighbors,
on Hat 97.
Your neighbors was like, who the hell does this guy think he is? All these celebrities coming
No,
here.
I was okay with them, basically, my neighbors, like, but you know, that was when that area, drug dealers working with the walkie-talkie and like just insane stuff like that. There's so many stories that I can tell you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What can I say? Anyway.
So you got these famous artists pulling up to your crib in 138th Street where, you know, there's a drug operation going on. So you got limousines coming through with celebrities. Your neighbors see you. These guys are coming to your place. They're like, what the hell's going on? Is this guy like a super music producer, cartel guy or something? What the
Yeah, it was.
That's hilarious.
It was crazy until they saw J.D. Williams.
Say it again, one more time.
J.D. Williams.
J.D. Williams, okay.
The kid from The Wire.
From The Wire, yep.
You remember him, the light-skinned Bodie?
Yeah, the light-skinned kid,
When they saw Bodie, they just went nuts because they drug dealers and he was a drug dealer and he was in The Wire.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, they just went nuts.
They went nuts. Like, oh shit! you're portraying one of us, and you're here. Who are you visiting? The super producer AI.
Anyway,
that's insane, man. That's a great story right there, bro.
Yeah,
a very great story. But AI, what would you say were 3 influential people in your life that made you want to get into this career? It could be anywhere from somebody personal to you, like somebody, or it can be somebody in the industry as well. So 3 influential people that kind of inspired you to do what you do in music production.
Okay, well, like I said, first of all, Dougie Fresh was right in front of me right there. That's kind of made me want to do that. I had in the music industry, there's plenty of people that actually went against the grain. Quincy Jones come to mind once, also because he was the person that was told he cannot do what the other top level people can do, which is score, film. And he is the first person who took the idea from just record production and R&B and music and stuff like that to cinema. He broke through as far as
Quincy Jones. A lot of people don't give him the credit that he deserves.
No, he did.
But he grabbed the hip hop culture and our the hip hop culture, the urban culture, and bring it to the main screen, right?
Yep.
To cinema, like you said.
And of course, Mack Roach is the most recorded person ever in the history of music. He's idolized. If you ask all the drummers that made quote unquote punk, white music, rock, all these things was created because of Mack Roach learned how to play drums. Yeah. Because Mack Roach played drums, and from those drums, he looking for certain sound, and they instigated their styling from him. So punk music happened because of the drummer from Cream, and the drummer from Cream he idolized Mack Roach.
Yeah,
he's one of the greatest drummers of all time. And so he told me, I was trying to show him some of my music and tell him, and he told me that I should do whatever I feel like doing. And so that's kind of you have 3 people that actually do. And you know what? Quincy and him, they know each other very well. Yeah. Max recorded Bitches Brew by Miles Davis. He's one of the drummers on his album. He did Charlie Parker. He did a lot of jazz music, and a lot of people might hear these names and they don't know what we're talking about. But these people, if you research them, the influence from them is
Yeah.
apparent in everything. No matter what you hear
Yeah,
today was
these are the
influenced by
guys.
them.
These are the guys who revolutionized the music
Yes.
industry.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Jay Dilla.
but
Jay.
but you know, behind the scenes, they're
Yes.
not like that flashy in your face people.
No,
They don't
Max.
need recognition. They're all
Max.
about the art. They're about the art. They're not about the fame. They're about
Yeah.
the art.
But
Right?
Max is famous. If you ask any a well-versed, but I don't want to say race, because I don't like that. But you, for some reason, he's not really known to us, but he's known to Caucasians.
Yeah.
Sorry, I saw one of his bill of lading or whatever the check they make for him. I was with him for a whole week in the Blue Note downtown. He was playing, so I was there with him. I was helping him set up and just be there because he was inviting me there, and he did actually pay me, and I wasn't expecting him. He did pay me. Yeah,
Wow.
he paid me
Yeah.
just for coming with him every day. He never told me he hired me, or he never asked me to hire me or anything, but he said, just come with me every day. And I went with him. And it was an experience because that's where I met the Marcellus brothers and all that, because they were all there, because he was playing. Because Max Roach is, if you say Obama, Max Roach is like same kind of level of ideality as a person, it should be to black people. And so his solo for the 7 days, which is 3 minutes, was $400,000.
What the hell? Damn, that's
Yes.
but that's the experience and the actual, you're dealing with the best of the best. You gotta pay top dollar.
Yeah. He's the most
best of the
recorded.
best. He's the best of the best. You know what I mean? He's not the best. He's the best of all the best. So you definitely paying top dollar.
Yeah. I had great time with him.
Yeah.
He introduced me to food, because in Harlem, to places where we go eat, and Sylvia, that he introduced me to that. He's with the culture in Harlem. He is like built, that school by the 145th.
Yeah.
By the cops, by the police station, is like
by
right in
the
the
police
corner.
station, by the police station, yeah.
Down. That's,
oh, really? He helped build that? I had no idea.
He helped build that.
He
somehow
funded,
structured.
He funded the
some of it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Part of it.
Great.
Yeah.
See, that's another great thing. Not only he's the best of the best, but he also was involved in the community.
Yep. He is. He's such a great person.
Those are people who come back. Those are people who make it to a level of stardom, and they give back. They give back to the community.
Exactly. They don't want anything, and they supposed to be known. Somebody like him should be known. Somebody like Tila Rock. Come on, Tila Rock should be known to a lot of people.
Yeah.
He lived here for this block. Walks around. Nobody know who is he. Not nobody knows. I know who is he. You probably know who is he. Tila Rock is the first rapper was signed to Def Jam before Run DMC.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, man.
Yes. You can Google
I've seen him a couple of times walking around the neighborhood.
Yes,
and
he walks around here.
The first time that I seen him, I was like, hey, I just want to tell you it's a pleasure and an honor to meet you. Yeah. And he's like, wow, man, a lot of people don't remember me. Like, they don't recognize that I was one of the first. Yeah, man, I'm just, I'm really
lives right here.
I don't only listen to hip hop. I'm part of the hip hop culture. I was in the industry. I know exactly who you are. And he felt, it was an honor for me to meet him, and it was a pleasure too. And he just felt like, it was great that somebody knew his sacrifices in the culture. You know?
I recorded him here, but I think because he was shot or something, that kind of got messed with him. It was his system a little bit, so that's how it is. We lose a lot of people like that. Max Roach passed away also because time, I guess time is all the but
listen, AI, what's for somebody looking into getting into a career of music production, what would be your best advice to them? somebody looking to start, somebody who wants to get into music production. They don't know how, but they want to know like, what the in and outs are real quick, a real brief description. Can you explain that to them?
Today is you just got to be true to yourself. Well, it starts at the point where you can look into yourself and say, okay, I want to do this. Do I want to start learning all of it from the beginning, or do I want to do it like right from where I am right now? And so either you be the brave person that jumps in it like right there in the moment, just investing in some equipment and start doing it like right away, or the person who want to go to school, learn it, and then maybe decide whether you want to be in it or not. Also, you have to read a lot of other people's
Success stories.
Unfortunately today, if you read other people's stories, is going to be success.
Yes.
You're not going to read somebody's failure.
Yeah.
And,
I believe in that. I believe that if not only
you learn better from failure.
Not only do I believe it, I know that it's a proven fact that works. When you read other people's success stories, that helps you kind of
it does.
See things from, like a third eye, right? It builds your third eye.
Yes. Failure is very important too. Because
failure is very important.
Yes, because it is half of the success. So 75% of success is failure. But like I said, to give them an advice, they should start where they can start with themselves. I don't want to say as far as, like, a lot of people always wonder what I'm talking about, equipment or no. You just figure out a way that if you have an idea, or you have songs, or you can write, or you can start. Anyone can start today. Today, music is very easy to start with. You can, when you're on laptop at home, you can start. You can start in your own cell phone. Like a lot of the stuff I do right now is all I do it in my cell phone. I do music in my cell phone every day. Yeah. Like I don't like, you know what I'm saying? It's unlimited today. The resources is that, but this
so
the most important person.
Having all the resources that are available now, it's so easy to really jump into something. You have to, even it being so easy the way that it is, you still have to have the passion for it, and you have to know how to really do it. Like you can't just say, you know what I mean? You have to study.
That's right.
It.
You can't be half. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Is that you have to be truthful to yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to be truthful to yourself in a way that you say, I can do this. Truthful is that you have to have something capable of learning something. If you want to go and do it as a producer, you should sit down somewhere and try to figure out if that you are going to do it. Like, you can't be somebody, okay, because I am of a certain color, well, I am of this, I can play guitar, or if you learn an instrument, that is something else. But you can't say that you're a good rapper because you are black.
Yeah, you can't say like,
exactly.
I grew up in the hip hop culture. I listened to this guy rap, and I'm from the hood. I'm from the hood, so I'm gonna rap. No, bro.
No,
doesn't work like that. Not everybody deserves it.
Today,
not everybody has that talent.
Yes, song structure and idea is studied. Even if you do it yourself, I'm not saying that you have to go to school for it, but you have to be true to yourself to say that what I'm going to do is going to matter. And if it matters to you and it sounded good to you and you are truthful to yourself, then maybe after that, you'll be able to get somewhere with it. That is the truth about it.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah.
I was very truthful to myself. I bought the first drum machine that I bought, and I said, okay, the guy said there is a 25% restocking fee. And I said, okay. Restocking fee, like you give it back. Fee. And so I said, I go home.
So they basically tell you, if you return this, you're going to have to pay.
Yes. And so I said to myself, yes. Yeah, I said to myself, okay, I go take it with the small idea, with all the little books that actually helped me improve my English, which is the things that I read about music business.
Well, the guy who told you that, the salesman, little did he know you weren't coming back.
Exactly. But in the meantime, I knew that actually, you know what? I'm maybe going to go and return this, because I said to myself, I was true to myself. I said, okay, I'm going to go home with this thing. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna connect it, and I'm gonna make something with my headphones. And then, well, if I don't like it, if it doesn't swing with anybody, I'm gonna return it. The 25 restocking fee, I lose it. It's an adventure. I go on with my life. 75% is not that bad, but a price for a dream, basically.
A
And
price,
so,
yeah, price for a dream. Yeah, you're right.
exactly,
Say it again
exactly.
one more time.
25 is
There's a
lovely.
price. There's a price for a dream. There's a price for your dreams, ladies and gentlemen. Remember
That's right.
that.
That's
But
right.
you gotta make sure
Yes.
that price is right. Like the show, right?
Exactly.
The price is right.
Exactly. So many fights, so many close to death experience, and all things. Just like you have to, you have to know the price to your dream. Basically,
It's
that's
a price basically it's a sacrifice.
that's right.
You gotta
Yes.
sacrifice.
What are you
You
willing
gotta
to
make
give up?
sacrifices.
Yes. Yes. Today, or in the last 10, 15 years, every rapper that ever did the song with anybody, they had to sacrifice so much. And you hear it. What's his name? The kid from Dreamville. What's his name? J. Cole. He
J.
said
Cole,
it. Yeah, he said it in one of the songs. He said that he had to sleep 24 hours to wait for Kanye West to do a remix with him. He slept on the couch in the studio 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Or for a long time. And it's
Look
a
at
sacrifice. You have to. You have to be able to. Yes, you have to be able to pay for your dream. That's first. But also you have to be truthful to your idea. You can't be somebody who's saying because I'm black and I sang in church, whatever it is, and people told me, oh, it's nice, you can do music. Sorry. There is another side to it. Talent. You have to have talent.
No.
Yes. You have to have talent. You can develop. There's people who can actually develop, but talent is very important.
Yeah.
Yes. And nurturing your talent is important. And so that is the price.
Somebody who wanted to learn how to sing can take vocal lessons and
Yes.
probably get good at it.
I am very an advocate of voice lessons. I am. Just not just for the music, for enunciation. It kills me. Like I see a lot of people that lived here for 40, 50 years, 60 years, and they don't have any enunciation of English. Some of the meanings of the words escape them. I love researching what is the meaning of things. Like I watched TV. I watched my vocabulary is from. I don't want to say intelligent people, but they are. If they made a show and they had it on TV, except Duck Dynasty, I'm not gonna listen to them vocabulary from Duck Dynasty. That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that is not. I'm just saying. The things that are put together intelligently helps you propel yourself to the direction.
There you have it, folks. You heard it straight from the super music. You heard it straight from the super music producer AI. You got to pay for your dream. There's a price to pay. Sacrifices. AI. In your career, what was your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
Okay. My failure failed. Of course I did. I trust people. I trusted people a lot. I also I don't want to say I'm too nice. I don't want to say that. That's kind of bad to say, but it's like the idea of me trusting people allows them to walk over certain things, and then they grab on and they move on, and I stay in the background basically. And that's kind of like, those are the things you expect. And I say that you have in the music business, which is, there's no music business anymore, by the way. So let me say that clear. There is music business, but there is a total different music business, and everyone can do it today if you have the right song, the right idea, the right look, whatever, which is what the old label was looking for. But at that time, people wanted to walk all over it. Like somebody would, like you have something and you are together, and somebody walks all over you to grab whatever they can grab, and they leave you dry. And we see this happen even to the big people.
Yeah, it does. It does. It happens. It happens
Jay-Z,
a lot. It happens a lot,
Jay-Z,
especially. It happens. I mean, in the music industry, they're famous for that. For
yes,
people leeching off
yeah,
other people,
yes,
grabbing a few tools from them and bouncing, and then
yes,
using their idea and
yes.
making it, making that the other person's idea their idea.
Failure. That
And
is failure. To me,
and
that part is yes. I trusted a lot of people in a lot of way. I I let go. Like I gave my records to people and they used it and like stuff like that. It's just I didn't care. It's just to me sometimes when you use something for me that I made and you stole it or do something is it's a compliment to me more than anything else.
yeah,
Um yes,
yeah,
what can you do? Just sometimes you just gotta
do
say, yeah, cut your losses, keep
yeah,
going,
exactly.
that's it.
Sometimes
Mm.
um, the universe puts you in
Yes,
situations to remove certain people out of your life for a reason.
yes,
So, and if it happens in a situation where the removal of that person was in a negative situation, regardless, it's still
still,
positive at
still a
the
good
end
thing. It's still
because you
positive.
didn't need that person in your life. You know what I
Of
mean?
course, yes.
So
Yes.
so I mean, I'm glad.
Continuing that with him, yeah, might poison you for good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you got a little glimpse of the poison. The
yeah,
universe took away that person from you, so you don't
yes,
get poisoned all the way.
yeah,
But I'm glad you
true.
said that, and I'm glad you informed anybody who's listening in who has aspirations to be an artist or jump into music production or the music business as a whole, that they know that coming in, that is a very
Yes,
grimy industry,
it
very
is.
grimy. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people who use you, and and you don't really gain anything from it. But what you do gain is the experience, and you gain to learn how to trust people, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
That's it.
yeah,
Every experience is always a gain.
yeah, it's
It's
always a
always a
game.
gain. Either you
Yeah,
gain not to do it again, or gain how to do it again.
yes, yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yes.
nobody's born knowing everything. You have to learn your lessons
Yeah.
in order to build your empire or build yourself as a person, right? Right,
Exactly.
correct. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, correct. Yeah, that's great, man. So man, yeah, man. So AI, we're definitely um glad that you came on the show to give your background on the music. Is there anything else you want to play for our fans and our listeners and our viewers? Anything else you want them to listen to right there before we get into the main topic? Today's main topic, ladies and gentlemen, is social movements. Social movements. Any social movement, whether for social change, social justice. That's what we're talking about today. Social movements. My personal favorite social movement of all time was the civil rights movement in the United States of America. We're gonna get right into that right after AI plays one of his tunes there for you guys. So you guys get a glimpse one more time of why he's a super music producer. We show facts here, proof, right? AI proof.
I
Show and
do.
tell, show and tell. A lot of people talk it, but AI walks it.
Yeah,
You heard? He talks it and he
yeah.
walks it.
That's right. You have to
There you
be able
go.
to do that in life, and you know.
Yeah, man. A
Let's
lot of
see
people,
here.
a lot of people talk a good one, but they can't back it up, right? So, um,
Yeah,
you know,
there's plenty of music.
like that.
I just
So,
gotta look.
yeah.
Yeah. Let
If
me see. Geez, I'm gonna
real quick,
play
what
this.
kind of equipment you got there, AI? If it's okay for people to know, state of the art shit. I
Uh,
see. I've been there. I
yeah,
know. I've been to playing shit.
yeah.
That shit. I'm telling you, you walk in there and you're in another world when you go to an AI studio, man. Trust.
Yes, you have to have a couple of good set of speakers. Um, you know, you as like I said, I'm one of those guys that like to study certain things, and so I change over the years so many pieces of equipment. I started with I actually harassed certain companies to make certain uh, things, and like for years until they made the sound card. You can't announce something that you cannot deliver. All kind of little things, and this is started like from the 90s. And finally, at the end, I found a company that makes some of the best equipment out there. Like when people who have Pro Tools system, they want to upgrade, they upgrade to Obigi. Obigi converters is some of the best converters in the world. And so your system is not your computer. Your converters are the most important part in your system.
Converters.
It's the
so
thing.
What was the name of the converters you were saying are the best in the?
Obigi converters.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's
Obigi Symphony.
That's one of the most important parts of music production, having the proper converters.
Yes, yes. You don't want delay. Okay, so why do you don't want delay? Not because just the song is gonna be all messed up. There is these certain things and these crystals that have timing, a very minute timing, that makes a difference between a great sounding song and with a great sounding system. And a kind of song sounds good, but you don't know why you don't like it. That's the difference.
Mm.
And so,
so for y'all little amateur producers out there, get your converters up, man. Get the proper converters, man. Stop playing.
That's right.
Stop playing. Invest your money in converters. Do your research.
That's right. You got to get something that actually up there. Something that will allow you to. Yeah.
We're talking big boy stuff now. We're not talking little boy stuff. This is big boy stuff. AI is here telling y'all, for y'all music producers out there who are trying to come up, you got to get the proper converters.
Yes.
It's okay to have a great Pro Tool software. Speakers are important, but the converters will give you that crystal sound.
That's right.
That millionth of a second that you need to change something, right?
Yes. That's the most important part. The most important part in music and all of this is conversion. How you because it used to be tape. Tape used to be easy. Everything in analog, everything fast. It goes on, it comes on. No slip between this track, the other track, or the other sound, or anything. That's from an engineering point. Okay? And as far as music production, it's like, So because you asked me before about versatility, I make all kind of stuff different. Like I make, and this is the third type of music that I make, which is like, Sorry, I'll go back and finish my point, but
Put it up.
It's coming. Modern, all the modern music. So, styling, you have to be able to have different style. It can't be like just one sort of sound. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I was saying before, so as far as equipment and stuff, being able to record, like I said, analog just on tape it lined up. You never lose placing, you never lose anything. It's a lot more difficult to edit. It's a lot more difficult to work with it. But in the digital world, you need very good converters. It's important to have the right converter so you can actually have zero latency to record your music, or you're not going to sound good at all.
Yeah.
At all. There's a lot of guys out there, they make music, They're talented on the way they make it. It may sound good to them. The track may sound good because it's all have the same exact delay inside. But once they come and record over it and edit it and get it to the point where they punch it, it loses luster. You have to, yes.
Especially when you're mastering a song, you need those type of things.
Yes.
People,
you need.
You record an artist on a beat, and first of all, the beat has to be crystal clear, right? With all the right tunings. But then when you record an artist, that artist, you have to use their voice and their skill set to kind of blend in with the beat. So that's another conversion that you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Once that conversion is over, you do a regular bounce on it. There's still a mastering that needs to be done. That mastering, you need the proper converters for that. You can't just not everybody can master.
Yes, all type of levels of everything. And like I said, different music always. You probably don't hear the bass.
Yeah, man.
Simple, but effective. That's how it is.
It sounds simple, but it's not that simple.
What?
You're being modest right now. You're being very modest.
Thank you. Important. Simplicity is important. It is very important. A lot of times, simpler songs make for the very, very, very good songs.
Yeah, sure. Listen, man, AI, man, I'm really, it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on. I'm definitely glad you was able to give your insight on what music production is, what the music business, the industry is about, giving your experience, you being a super music producer, and those listening in and viewing this podcast episode, please appreciate this man. You gotta appreciate this man, bro. This guy is telling you 100% facts. And he, you know, from his lens, and his lens is real good because he's actually one of the people who make this stuff really happen. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So yeah, man. So AI, Untitled Roundtable podcast, we love our guests, right? To show the world, not only are they, in your case, like a music producer, right? An engineer, and you're in the music industry, but that you are a human being and that you know about social issues, right, in our society today. So our topic today was social movements. Earlier, before you played one of your last beats there, I brought up the civil rights movement. That's my personal favorite because of all the struggles, and you know, me being a minority as well, right, and knowing the struggles that my ancestors went through, particularly in the world, but particularly in this country. The civil rights movement is one of my favorite movements ever, social movements ever. So just to give a little background to our listeners and viewers, which I'll tell you, our listeners and viewers are very smart people, so they know stuff, but we like to reiterate certain information, right? Because sometimes, some people are just there stuck in the matrix and they forget about stuff. So in 1868, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution gave Black people equal protection under the law. In 1870, the 15th Amendment granted Black Americans the right to vote. Still, many white Americans, especially those in the South, were unhappy that people they once enslaved now or more or less had the same equal playing field. To marginalize Black people, they kept them separated from white people and erased the progress they made during Reconstruction. Jim Crow laws were established in the South beginning the 19th century. Black people couldn't use the same public facilities as white people. lived in many of the same towns or go to the same schools. Interracial marriage was illegal, and most Black people couldn't vote because they were unable to pass the voter literacy literacy test. Correct? Then the civil rights movement was a struggle for social justice that took place mainly during the 1950s and 1960s for Black Americans to gain equal rights under the law in the United States. The Civil War had officially abolished slavery, but it didn't end discrimination against Black people. They continued to endure devastating effects of racism, especially in the South. So the civil rights movement was a movement to finally make Black people in America have equality. And until this day, we don't have equality yet, but the civil rights movement was the beginning of that. And we did, you know, the civil rights movement really did have a big impact in how we live our lives today, even though there's still racism and there's still inequality. But the civil rights movement definitely made an impact. We had leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X who made that happen, and other people behind the scenes. And it gave us more rights as Americans, as you know, Black people in America, as they used to be. Right? Correct? AI.
Yep.
Right.
Well, it's usually, a lot of people think it is about equality in any kind of way. In most cases, a lot of people forget that it's an equality about money. Sorry. That's it.
Yeah.
People forget that is actually was there about expenditure, about yes, attached to it, the ideology of being able to vote, freedom of speech, or all the other things that were taken for granted by your counterpart Caucasian. But it had a price. And when you attach a price to things in the United States, the people who have the money tend to, you know, push back.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's by the way, last year I spent 4.5 months about 2 blocks away from Plantation Road in Alabama, where all of this stuff happened. I seen the door, you know, where they stood over the, you know, of the bridge, you know, that little bridge. I was there. I was in Alabama working for, you know, working there, you know. And so I kind of try to kind of like educate myself about it, follow MLK's ideology, listen to his sermons. There is a lot of stuff in him, but what they always try to keep out of it is that he really, really, really did tell him about the price.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, back to the civil rights movement. You know, the whole point was that, like you said, money, right? Wealth, right? So from the very beginning,
Economic,
you had
yes.
white families, right, who gained wealth through slavery because they had free labor, right? People were doing free labor for them.
Yes, of course.
So that right there builds a social inequality, right? Because you have people who are very wealthy, other people who are working for free. And when we finally decided to, you know, abolish slavery, it was because what was America built on? America was built on, you know, everyone's created equal, and everybody can is entitled to liberty, right?
Yeah.
The pursuit of happiness.
That's
But how can everybody be
equal?
equal and have the
when
pursuit of
you
happiness when you have slavery going on.
know when you
Yeah,
also have a head start.
yeah, you had a head start, a very
Yeah,
long head start.
yeah.
So, I mean, the civil rights movement was a movement trying to reinforce what we was promised as citizens, right? What black people were promised as citizens of the United States.
Not just
Mind
black
you,
people, people in general.
people in general, but
Yes, yes,
mostly
everybody. Yes, yeah,
African Americans that endured most of the pain
yeah.
because you know what I mean. A lot of the African Americans,
Description.
the slavery movement, right? The slavery, they helped build this country, right? Slaves helped build this country, and then they were promised certain things, and it didn't happen. Even after slavery was abolished, it didn't happen. So the civil rights movement was like, you know what? All men are created equal. We want equality for all, right? Which we still have an issue with that, but at least the civil rights movement got the engine started, right? Because we are, you know, in this day and age, we are a little bit fortunate than people who endured those acts of violence and slavery from back then, right? Because now you can go to school and get an education and make something out of yourself, and you are gonna face systemic, racism, right? But
Yeah.
at least you have a chance. If you find out the loopholes, I think you can make it. But the civil rights movement was about that. You guys
For
promised us
everybody.
liberty and the
For
pursuit of
everybody.
happiness, but we can't even go to the same schools or get the same benefits that this group of people can get, right? So what the hell?
Yeah.
Why can't we
True.
get the same treatment, right? So
Hmm.
yeah.
True. The problem is, it is always like you watch a lot of the stuff that, or a lot of the shows that being put by Caucasian, and they trying to explain certain things. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything like. There's some people that does do speak the truth about whatever it is. Um, it's always about money. It's
Yeah.
the people that owned the slaves, or owned the factory where the slaves worked. But when it came down to freeing them, or no matter what the deal was, they told the poor white people, who's um, at that time was using them to control the slaves, that these people are coming for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that the
yeah, for
black
sure.
people are coming for you, and no matter what they built, and um, no matter what the rights they were granted to them at that time, uh, during the last 200 years, were slipped. They removed away from them. It was removed by very, very small margin of flaw that it added to the system. Like, that I watch a lot of people. I watched what's his name, Michael Moore. Michael Moore had a very, very good documentary about why Caucasian hates Negroids or
Yeah.
black. About how the rich and the owners of the land told the people that works with them that the blacks are coming for your wives or for your women, and they come in for your livelihood and for your money. And so that's where the hate came from. That's where it's actually embedded forever, and that's where it actually would never gonna change. Not going to. I don't believe that it's not gonna change. I'm just saying that there is people, no matter what it is, they will not let it go,
Yeah.
no
I
matter
mean,
what it, and
yeah, yeah,
and it, now it's very sudden. Now it doesn't have to be like really clear. Now it can be just simply electing someone that will not help you. That's it. It's
yeah,
so sudden, you don't even feel it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's how it is. It's difficult.
Very difficult. And at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna be realistic. I definitely agree with what you're saying. Human
Hmm.
beings are not perfect. We're all gonna have biased bias or prejudice things in our head, right? When it comes to dealing with certain people. Because for instance, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be 100% honest. Me myself, it was maybe like 2 weeks ago. I was walking through the street, right? It's in a particular area of the city where there's a lot of Asian people, right? Oriental people, right? From from China, Japan, whatever. And at one point, like a whole group of them get off of this bus, right? And I'm trying to walk through them, but they're like all bunched up, and I'm like, why do Chinese people always got to be in bunches? I said that in my head, and then as I walked away, I'm like, wait, what the hell? Like I was just being prejudiced. I just classify them, because Chinese run in groups that, oh, they was running in groups and I couldn't get by, right? So that was like just a natural human
Reflex.
thought of mine. I'm not a racist. I'm not like I don't have prejudice. I'm not prejudiced towards any group of people. But in my head, I was like, damn, the damn Asians are causing crowds against, right? That could have been taken as a biased statement if I said it out loud, right?
Of course, of course.
So what I mean by saying that is us as human beings, we're not perfect, and we're never going to be able to get rid of prejudice statements, because internally sometimes we say things that we might not mean, but we say at the moment that we check ourselves. So for that reason, we might get real good at it to the point where at least systemic racism won't exist anymore, or it won't be out in the public as prevalent as it is now, as it was, and as it still is now. But I think that we can get to a level of where things will be mapped out to the point that it won't be in your face racism. You know what I mean? And I think we've gotten close to it, but we're not there yet. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done, especially with the police brutality issues. We got to fix that because, I'm sure there's a lot of bad African American Latino cops too. But each time somebody gets killed, it's not a Latino or black cop killing somebody of color. It's a white cop killing somebody of color. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that we gotta
well, that could
socially,
be attributed. Right? That could be attributed that there is more white cops than black and Latino cops. By percentage, by percentage there is more white people than blacks, and so, but it still doesn't justify the killing. But it just keeps happening. Also, on the other hand, there's less black people in the United States or Latinos, and they are being killed more than their counterpart, which is really a statistic that doesn't work either way, basically.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The margin.
Yeah,
and
the margins are.
I get that. The margin in population is real big, right? I get that part. But it just happens to be that act of violence always happens between one race and another race, right? A white cop versus a brown or black person. You know what I mean? It just happens to be like that. So we have to fix that. So socially, right? We have to reform the police. I don't think we should defund them, but I think we should reform them.
There was
in protocol.
There's a black actor. I met him before. I told you I was going out with like a lot with Max, and one time we went out to Harlem somewhere, and there was this actor. I watched the video the other day. He said something like that, but he was there, and he's an older actor and very, very prolific, like you say, with the way he put it. He said that they have to, if they cannot do it from themselves, being able to not shoot an unarmed person or shoot to kill a person, they have to, just like we love our families and our people, they have to lose something that they every time they inflict harm on someone else. So they should be point system.
Yeah, point system.
Okay, and so you have to make it as if they are um, gonna lose every time they kill somebody.
Accountability.
Or not kill somebody. Not every time they kill somebody. Every time they have an act of violence or a way of not dealing with the situation, it have to be in a point system where they lose points from the money they get, and in that way, they gonna have to feel like they are protecting their own family when they protect the person they're supposed to be protect from harm. As a policeman, you are not supposed to inflict harm on a person to protect the rest, because that's just the way it is. That's the way it became right now. But you are supposed to protect the person who is inflicting harm also. That is a part of your responsibility.
Yes, protect.
It's your responsibility first. Yes, it's your responsibility first to protect the person who is doing the bad thing first. That's why in most movies you see when the person picks a gun to shoot themselves, they shoot his hand. They don't shoot him.
Yeah.
That's how it is. They shoot his hand or try to stop him, because this system is built on rehabilitation. And so if you don't have criminals or people to rehabilitate them, so what's happening? Not in that kind of way, but still, that should be the way that people could actually look into why are they killing people. It became, I don't know if it's a competition between them, because I noticed that like the last kid that got shot in the back 6 times, there was 3 cops there. They could have stopped him. They could have jumped on his back on the floor, cuffed him, and that would be the end of it. Not grab his shirt and pull back. You know? I'm just saying.
I totally agree. I definitely think there has to be a change in protocol. Cops need to get they need to be held accountable for their actions.
Yes,
accountability, right? Accountability.
Not just accountability. Accountability there is. Yeah. Because they put system for accountability. They need to lose something that will make them think of them losing a part of their family. If you want to protect your family, you have to make money. Yeah. If you have to make money, and if you lose money, you're not protecting your family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you kill somebody, you lose the thing that will make you protect your own family. And so in that, the solution, basically. It's a very elegant solution. Very elegant.
And also, another part of the solution, this is my opinion, cops only go through work performance and psychological evaluations when they're in trouble. So whenever they get in trouble for, when somebody puts a complaint against them, that's the only time that they get evaluated as far as work performance.
Yeah.
And psychological evaluation they don't get unless they actually ask for it, right? So I think cops in general, on a yearly basis, they should get, because they get drug tested, right? Why not give them the drug test, give them the work performance evaluation, give them the psychological evaluation.
They probably did it.
No, they don't. They do not go. The only time they go through work performance evaluations and psychological evaluation is when there's a formal complaint against them, when they get in trouble. But they're not, they're not evaluated like a regular job. In regular jobs, you get evaluated every 6 months or every year to see if you're still fit for your position at work.
That's right.
Right? So imagine you being a law enforcement official, you're seeing people get shot, killed, raped. You get shot at, you might get some guy who tries to take you down. You're psychologically fucked up. Yeah. You got PTSD without even knowing it. The next person you encounter, you shoot his brains out. Now you're in trouble for the rest of your life. You lost your job and everything. So I think if work performance and psychological evaluations are more common in the police force, there's a less likely chance for them to commit errors, because now there's somebody always watching them to see if they're deemed fit for the job. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, true. It's, in a way, like I said, they need to learn how to be able to lose something that's valuable that will make a person the next time think twice of protection. The order of protection should be to your family, because you're thinking of protecting your family. If you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your family. But then, if you're protecting your family and you're not providing, you are not protecting your family. And so, in a way, losing your wages and being demoted and making less money, it might piss you off a little bit. But in the meantime, you think the next time that you are going to inflict harm on someone else. And that's that. You know, it's, like I said, it's a very, very elegant solution to stop it, to stop the violence. They should be able to do that. I, for one, I'm a union guy. I love unions to like protection of the regular person. I used to be a union delegate. I used to be the head of union in a place where I worked for 10, 15 years. And the problem with unions,
they get corrupted after a while.
Huh?
They get corrupted after a while.
Yes. And so I blame the police unions in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
in this,
because
it makes them like a gang.
A gang,
because that's what happened. One of those things should be removing you from the police union.
Yeah, just think about the significance of the word union, united, right? A group of people.
Yes.
The word of gangs.
Yeah,
gangs are the same thing. A group of people get together for a cause, right?
Whether it came from Jimmy Hoffa and all these people who they took that from the Whispers people and the mafia. And by the way, the word mafia itself is it means nothing in Arabic. It means the disappearance, or like the people whispering and congregating. Yes. And so that's what it means, It's
supposed to be a secret.
Exactly. And so police unions
only those involved are supposed to know.
Labor unions, police unions, all of these things, even though they protect the person who is in the union, they don't care about anything beyond what's in the union. And in a lot of ways, like every time I see the head of the police union in New York State, no matter what he says in New York City, he just pisses me off every time he talks.
You know why? You know why?
Yes.
Because all he's talking about is how to defend the cop. He's not talking about.
Well, it is his job.
He's not talking about. He's not talking about a solution to the problem.
It is his job.
Okay,
but
I get it.
Yeah,
your job is to defend the cop, right? Because right,
he doesn't offer.
He's a union, but also be like, okay, how can us, the union and the cop, get along with the citizens a little bit better? I don't never see that.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. They don't think of that part. They don't think about policing. They think policing is orders coming from the city, basically, and the controllers and all the people that actually put the laws. And this is not their part. Their part is that, and then that in itself does make them into a gang. And so when you make them into a gang, they are going to gang up, and some of them going to be bad. I'm not saying that everybody. Like the other day, there was a shooting over here, and I love this area. I lived here for long years, for a lot of years. Most of my friends are Dominicans. I love Dominicans. They are like my second family, like you could say, they are my people. I'm from Sudan, Africa, but I'm a Dominican honorary in the Heights. So that's what it is. Okay, so there's no other thing, And so there was people shooting in the street, at each other, like that, and crazy. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that happened the other day, by the way. Yeah.
Yes, you saw it? Yeah, they showed the guy's face. You could tell who's he. He's like, hey, the guy that hangs over there.
And the guy was running down the block into the bodega. Like, what type of shit?
Yeah.
So listen, that's what I'm saying. I believe we do need policing for sure.
Yeah, we do.
But it has to be reformed, and it has to be done the right way. Because a lot of innocent people that have nothing to do, that are not criminals, get killed by cops all the time. And is a proven statistic that 90% of cops see their fellow cops doing something wrong, and they turn the cheek. They turn their eyes the other way. They let it happen. Because in the academy, they're taught not to snitch on your fellow cop. Listen, man, we need to hold accountable the cop who's committing the crime, and also the cop who's seeing his fellow cop commit the crime too needs to be held accountable. So then they know there's repercussions, right? Correct?
Yes.
So that's it. But back to the civil rights movement. One of the reasons why the civil rights movement, because remember, law enforcement as a whole, right? When it first started, the essence of law enforcement came about. It was to catch runaway slaves. Correct? That's
True.
a fact. That's
Yes.
a fact.
Yes.
Law enforcement was created to catch
No.
runaway slaves, and they
Yes.
would get paid top dollar.
The people that were put on the table. I mean, if the people that were put on the table and introduced as the same color of the owner of the plantation,
Mm-hmm.
but not really eating as good as the guy who owned the plantation,
Yeah.
and was introduced, you are with us, okay? And so that where's the cop came from. The, what they call it, the not the whip, no, uh, cracker, the crack, like
The cracker, yeah, the cracker.
cracker.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And
the
so
cracker.
yes, so
That's who the
that's
cracker
where,
was. The cop, the first law
yes,
enforcement cop
exactly.
was the
The
cracker.
cracker turned to cop. That's
Cop,
basically,
yep.
that's why. So the mistrust is there. Black people mistrust cops all the time. They have the right. They have
They have the right.
the right to mistrust you if you beat their ancestors into
Yeah.
submission,
Yeah.
and then now you act like, it's the kind of same idea. So like they mistrust cops. They do. They
Yeah.
you know.
So this is the reason why when there's a white cop that kills a black or brown person, it causes an uproar because the history of a cop is to be a cracker, right? Cracking the whip to get these slaves in order. So when you
Yes.
know what I mean? And
Yes, we'll
Uncle
find them.
Yeah.
They were talking about
Jackson, right? The president of the $20 bill, right? Jackson. He was one of those rich, wealthy white people. They would pay cops.
Washington paid. He said paid more money for the ones that runs to get them back and beat them, and you beat them more, they'll give you bonuses. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would.
These are the presidents.
Yeah, these are the presidents. They will pay these law enforcement slave catchers a crazy amount of money to bring them back. Crazy amount of money. Imagine in the 1800s getting paid $2,000 to catch a slave. That's a lot of money. Correct?
Yes. At that time, yes.
So those are the origins of law enforcement. They were slave catchers, runaway slave catchers. So this is the reason why there's an issue between the brown and black community and cops who are white, particularly.
Of course. Mistrust.
And then you got the cops who are brown and black who join the force and they become one of them, right? In
That's
a sense,
right.
because they're taught that in the academy. So back to the civil rights movement. So that's one of the reasons why the civil rights movement was enforced, because all these things were promised. Then, cops are not, there's no equality at all. Cops are still doing what they want to do. White America too was going through shit because their kids are being shipped off to war, for no reason. The shagadelic movement is going on, whatever, right? The hipsters, and even white America was tight. Even white America was pissed off that, they weren't getting certain rights too, right? So the civil rights movement, like you said, it wasn't only for black and brown people to get rights, but it was for everybody. Because even
that was the beauty of it. The beauty of it was for everybody.
So when people talk about the civil rights movement, they think it's just about brown and black people. It wasn't. It was about everybody as a whole.
Yeah, of course. In the trenches off of it, in the lieutenants off of it, there was a lot of white people into it because they believed in it. I met a lot of people in Alabama itself that they said, like, quote unquote, like full mouth, they said they are they believers in MLK, and he is their hero. Like a couple of people that I spoke to over there, they regard him at the highest point of it. But
and you know what it was that the only difference within the civil rights movement was that white people they hadn't gone through the same things that the brown and black people had gone through. That was the only difference, but they were still fighting for equality as well because they were getting discriminated too, in the sense by the government. The government had too much of a stronghold on society at that time, right? So this is like the uproar of the citizens saying, you know what, we had enough, right? So this is the reason why that was my favorite social movement of all time. And we, as a whole, as Americans, I think we accomplished a lot. And as far as like other things that still haven't been fixed, like systemic racism and inequality in the workplace, stuff like that. I think we're getting better. We've gotten better, obviously, but we need to work a lot more and get rid of old laws and get rid of old laws and systems that don't apply to this day and age. If you go to the courts, the criminal courts, AI in any state, they're still using laws from the 1800s to justify something that happened today. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's because there is other laws that governs other laws. Remember?
Yeah.
Like because so you say you're gonna carry something from one place to another, okay? Yeah. And it's the obvious move that you want to carry this thing, but if somebody says there's a beam of something that's gonna fall right in front of it, you have to go around it, figure out what to do with this, or duck under this, and carry it here, put it over there, and so there's so many things in the way.
Yeah.
For the thing that you think it is the easiest thing to do in the world, which is the change that will bring of all change. But there is always other factors in the way that will not allow it to happen.
You're right.
Yeah, there is. That's the systemic things that we live in today.
Yeah.
Like impeaching Donald Trump, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about him, but I'm just saying, like, I thought if somebody caught you with all of these things that you're doing, somebody should be able to like tell you, yeah, you are done, you finished, but it's not. It never is. There's always something that something written or an amendment in a law that allows a certain wiggle room for certain things that happen.
Yeah.
And so these things been happening for over 400 or 500 years. There's a underwriting, like the underwriting, like the
underwriting, like when you download an application and you don't read all the agreements and you just press I agree.
Exactly. That no, that, and then there is the underwriters. Underwriters, the people that writes the laws that's governed by money, or the laws that allow to move money, or the laws that allow businesses to move money around.
Yeah.
And the underwriters, those became lobbyists. They became the idea of lobbyists.
Yes.
And so the written laws and attach things to the small little forms with small little ideas. All of these things leads to money at the end.
Yeah.
How exactly? Or there will be no government. Okay? Or there will be no government. It's very, very bad. And it's all controlled by banks and big corporations and lobbyists. In the one small little change in something, it costs this person that much money, or allows this person.
It's very hard to have a change. It's very hard to have a change when money is the root of what drives these politicians into office. You know what I mean? And you have a lobbyist who works for a big corporation that dictates practically through money what the politician can do and cannot do once he gets into office. Because if I give you $5 million for your campaign and you become mayor, president, governor, and I gave you $5 million, you best believe you're going to do what I want you to do. Right?
That's right.
That's what it is.
No matter what. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I own you. I just gave you $5 million and I put you in the position that you wanted to be in all your life. You wanted to be a governor since you was 5 years old. I made that happen to you. I gave you $5 million. Now I own your ass, and you're gonna write laws that benefit my corporation and my peoples. That's why politics in America is corrupted. Not only in America, throughout the world too, because you see it in third world countries and in second world countries that happens too.
No, it has to be because in order for it to work here, it has to be implemented somewhere else.
A test run.
Yes, not just a test run. In order for this to exist, it cannot exist by itself.
Exactly.
And that's why it introduces wars, introduces ideas. People come here and study. They I don't want to say they get brainwashed. No, but the idea appeals to them, and they go back home, and then that's why there is wars.
Yeah.
And because there is certain ideology in this world,
they get
it's very hard to
indoctrinated.
change.
They get
Yes.
indoctrinated.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And there is certain ideologies somewhere else or anywhere else that are very hard to change. And so that requires war to change it. It
Yeah.
requires war. It requires.
Hey, I repeat that again one more time. It requires what? Say it again. War.
Yes.
For what? For change.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
This is why I hate when people tell me that peaceful protest changes things. It does not change anything.
No.
The only time there's been change, a revolt, revolutionizing things, is through war. Correct?
That's right.
That's the only way to make a real change. Violence.
Exactly.
Because when you show the opposing,
it wasn't me who said that.
War is violence. War is violence. Right?
Think about it. Malcolm X always, in all of his meetings and all the things that I've seen for him, he always really, really wanted the change and the difference and the separation. You know what I'm saying? He wanted a total different government for everybody, except when he went to the Middle East and he, became a Muslim and all that. But the idea is the only way you can actually. Yeah, I was on a train, and this Caucasian lady sitting near me, and then she started talking about, what's going on. It was in a paper or something like that, and then she said, "Nothing going to change in this country without a civil war."
A civil war, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
It has to. Listen, in the history of humanity,
yes,
it's just
nothing
common
changed.
sense.
Yes.
It's
No
common
change,
sense.
Yeah.
It's common sense. Just look at the history. Even if you don't have the common sense, because a lot of people do not have common sense. Even just the history of humanity, no change has come. Nothing has changed. No revolt, no revolution has happened without war, without change. Because when a group of people are fed up with a way that something is, they fight back. And that's when change comes.
That's right.
Peaceful protest is good for certain things, but when you want to make a big change, you need to cause war. You need to. It has to happen. That's the only way. Just think about the Berlin Wall, the civil rights movement, to abolish slavery here in the United States. The North and the South won the war.
The Berlin Wall.
To us to get rid of the British, to get rid of the British, to get rid of the British. We fought the British.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't make any sense when people say, "Oh, I don't believe in violence, it's peaceful protest." No, fuck that shit. That doesn't work. It does not work. Yeah, it might work to intimidate politicians to look nice in front of the press and the media, but it's not going to change anything in the paper, in the document.
And the cleanest form of it, you could see it by the reciprocation of violence from the police.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because if it is going to work the way they think, that you, like with the love, they would have hugged long time ago and it would have been done. But the clear factor of it is that the police beats back. You notice it, right? The police always gonna want to beat you back because they are our civil society controllers, basically.
Yeah.
And so if there is any way that this would have been resolved in a civil way, they would have done it. But usually beat up. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's how it is.
Yeah, man. So man. So I'm definitely in agreement. I definitely agree with you, and I'm definitely in agreement.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, social movements was our topic of the day. We spoke about the civil rights movement, which affected a lot of changes in our future world that we live in now. We still have a lot of things to work on. I think we're gonna get there slowly but surely. But let's see, man. Let's keep our fingers crossed. AI, I appreciate you coming on Dinner at the Roundtable podcast, brother. I appreciate your craft. I appreciate your knowledge. Thank you for letting our listeners and our viewers know who you are and what you've done to help the music game move forward and what your craft is about. And it was a pleasure having you on the show, but I'm sorry that my co-host couldn't be here today. They
That's
were
okay.
both, and they had some personal reasons not to be here. But we still had to interview you, man, because we've been waiting for this for a long time, brother. And we're definitely gonna have you back on another episode. But I was glad, I'm glad you was able to make the time to come on the show today, man.
No problem. No, thank you.
And you spoke
Anytime, my
about some
brother.
real shit today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I hope your listeners enjoyed the segment and the music with that, for
Yeah,
that
man.
point.
Actually, the YouTube live, there's a whole list of comments, man. But AI, the master. There's a whole bunch of people.
I was looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Definitely, here we got, yo, what's good? It's AI, the Jevo Genius. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Great topics, my boy Adele. That's crazy, man. So people know what time it is, man.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying?
But okay. Hopefully, till next time then.
Yeah, the next time, man, definitely we're gonna come back soon. I'm gonna have you back on soon. I mean,
I'll make sure that I have some of the modern crack music for our listeners. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so definitely with the great tunes. But one thing about me and AI is that we do this on the regular. Like me and him, when we bump into each other, we talk about a lot of like important shit, right? We always do that. Like it could be like 10 minutes just in the streets. We'll bump into each other in front of the supermarket. We just start talking about a whole bunch of social issues and a whole bunch of shit is going on. So I mean, we show the world what we do on a day-to-day basis, me and you, when we see each other, right? So this is us showing the world that we talk about real shit, right?
I'm happy and glad to always.
Yeah, man. But real quick, AI, for anybody wishing to obtain your services, as far as engineering, music production, just give out any basic information that you want them to know if they wanted to contact you to work with you on some music, your social media drops and all that. Okay, can you just give our listeners and viewers that real quick?
Well, for my music, I have an IG, which is a.i_b_like. That's my IG account. Sorry, I don't have a keyboard to type it in here, but you have it in your account with you over there, and I can give my. I'm gonna put my email on the YouTube channel.
Yes. Well, we'll have a link on our YouTube description for this interview. On the description is a link to your. It's going to be a link to your Instagram and a link to your email.
Yes.
But some people don't. They don't look at that description sometimes. So to contact AI email wise is Adele ADEL biz mail @gmail.com. For those wishing to inquire about any music production or beats or engineering or studio time.
ADELBISMAIL. It's my name with a B in the middle, all together at Gmail.
There you go. Yeah. So the same way it's spelled right here, Adele B Ismail @gmail.com. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so those wanting to record some real music, come holla at AI.
That's right.
Super music producer.
Thank you. Real or fake, doesn't matter.
Yeah, so studio time, music production, music engineering. This man does it all. I mean, I don't have to say much, man. Like your work speaks for itself, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you.
We definitely want to give anybody in the audience a chance that wants to do music to know, you're that guy to see. And he's reasonable. So even though he's a super music producer, he's very reasonable when it comes to pricing.
Accessible.
Well, to me, because I'm his brother, I don't know about y'all, bro.
Yes. That's true. You
already know, man. Dinner to Untitled Podcast. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. You already know on YouTube Live, man. We here every Monday, man. Shout out to John Tavar, Chris Ryder, our co-host. They couldn't be here today, but they'll be here next time, man. I appreciate you coming on. We out of here, man. See you.
All right. Thank you.
John Tribu. Sí. Lo mina. Yo sí vengo de lo mina. El trabajo de los mineros siempre está parado en la esquina. A él no le importa lo que nadie piense, no le importa lo que nadie opina. Te vira por lo de él, no coge esa. Y por su dinero te asesina en la esquina. La vaina se vende en la esquina. Tengo que buscarme dinero porque yo vengo de lo mina. Estoy claro que tú eres un cuero barato, aunque a mí tu chapa me fascina. Yo me mantengo dándole a la olla, por eso no salgo de la cocina. Uno no es de mentira, uno es de verdad, mi pana. Esto es por respeto a los mineros. John Tribu, Hate Fan, la gente de la H, dice: no son de nada, en los mineros nunca atrás. Del material yo voy a comprar, en paz descanse Monkey Black. Yo te me tiro como el servicio secreto y no te hablo de Men in Black. Ese palomo no te apuesto y si pa' él me pongo me le voy a entablar. ¿Quiénes son ellos? Yo no lo conozco. Yo no hago coro con guare tampoco. Soy de los tiempos de Prieto y Taoco. Por la nariz pana yo no me toco. Es con la hierba que me pongo loco. Soy el mejor de todos, no me equivoco. No es de mentira, somos de verdad. Tigres como uno ya queda muy poco. Lo mina. Yo sí vengo de lo mina. El trabajo de los mineros siempre está parado en la esquina. A él no le importa lo que nadie piense, no le importa lo que nadie opina. Te vira por lo de él, no coge esa. Y por su dinero te asesina en la esquina. La vaina se vende en la esquina. Tengo que buscarme dinero porque yo vengo de lo mina. Estoy claro que tú eres un cuero barato, aunque a mí tu chapa me fascina. Yo me mantengo dándole a la olla, por eso no salgo a la cocina. Su payola, lo verdadero los mineros. Louis V Flow los mineros. Lo mina Dubai en la casa. No bulto mío el piña. Estamos pa' esto, ya mangamos el break. Fumamos kush con polvo hey. Lo que tú fumas tiene spray. La cadena tuya son fake. Llegale a los códigos, los mineros, mi pana, never be afraid. Me sigue tentando el 3-6. Eso es all day and every day. Sigo yo en esto entregado. Tengo lo mío calculado. Después que me busque la moña, no guarda en el punto parado. Tu bolsillo al tope y si tú llegas el bloque lo minas, te bajo los piaos. No estoy en sofoque y esto yo lo hago para los que están encarcelados. Por eso les digo, lo mina. Yo sí vengo de lo mina. El trabajo de los mineros siempre está parado en la esquina. A él no le importa lo que nadie piense, no le importa lo que nadie opina. Te vira por lo de él, no coge esa. Y por su dinero te asesina en la esquina. La vaina se vende en la esquina. Tengo que buscarme dinero porque yo vengo de lo mina. Estoy claro que tú eres un cuero barato, aunque a mí tu chapa me fascina. Yo me mantengo dándole a la olla, por eso no salgo a la cocina.